minted Porsche factory driver, Laurin Heinrich. Welcome back to Daytona. You've been on the podium here at the Rolex 24. I want to ask you a couple things. First, about your ascent just through the Porsche ranks from Porsche Super Cup into GT3 competition and now into GTP competition. It hardly took you any time, it feels like. This whole ascent was pretty quick.
Yeah, it was pretty quick, as you said. I mean, I went through all the Porsche ranks, starting actually in Porsche Sprint Challenge in Germany, which is an amateur one-make series. Then going through the Porsche Carrera Cup, and I always knew that, I'm racing there to prove my talent, to show Porsche what I can do, and hopefully, to be picked up for the Porsche Junior program, and that's exactly what happened. Going through, obviously then still Porsche 1x1 Super Cup, GT3 competition, now being here in Daytona as a new Porsche factory driver, which was always my goal as a small kid, and especially when I joined Porsche. Now racing even for Team Penske in the GTP is a huge honor, and gives me goosebumps every time I speak about it.
Think back for a moment to your time at AO Racing, because I remember when you came onto the GT3 scene here in IMSA, you kind of exploded. It seemed like you got comfortable in that AO car in Rexy pretty quickly. Obviously the GTD Pro title stands for itself. How much of a factor did that play in terms of getting you this GTP drive that you have now?
Yeah, it was extremely important. I mean, I came to IMSA with barely any GT experience, but AO had a lot of trust in me and my capabilities. So we came here, actually first race in Daytona with Rexy, and we finished second straight away, which was also my first IMSA podium. And then I knew, okay, we've got something there in our hands, and let's try to make it work. And we've had a great year. It was not only my first year in IMSA, but also Rexy's first year in GTD Pro. And we could win it straight away. So that was for sure a huge milestone in my career, and also a big stepping stone now being part of the factory lineup for PPM. We've also had a decent year last year. Especially good memory for me is the 12 hours of Sebring, where I could score my very first major endurance victory. This will stay in my mind, all my memories forever, because that was also very important for myself, and I hope this year I can come back and score some more endurance victories, because that's what I'm here for.
Well, you've got class wins, you've got a class title, you've got the major endurance win. How much do you want a GTP win or a GTP title? Yeah,
I would love to win an IMSA race overall. I mean, I've had the chance at the GT only race in Virginia, but sure. Now, being in the fastest class, GTP, lapping all these GTs and LMP2s will be very interesting. Very different dynamic of racing for me, especially not having so much experience in that regard yet. But I have some great teammates around me who are very supportive, who help me a lot. And in the end, I feel ready for it. And I think Porsche and Team Penske also thinks I'm ready, because otherwise I would not be here.
I remember speaking to some folks last year in the Porsche camp right after you had done some testing in the 963. And of course, they wouldn't reveal lap times, but the one thing that just about everybody said was, he was really quick right away. Did you feel comfortable in the 963 right off the bat? Yeah,
I think that's one of my strengths. Definitely, I learned that in the Porsche One-Make Series, especially racing in the Porsche 1x1 Super Cup, where you're racing with Formula One. Obviously, you don't get a lot of track time during the weekend, so you have to learn a lot quickly. There's no other option. So I think that's a skill I could fine-tune racing in Porsche One-Make Series. And then obviously going into the prototype for the first time, for me, I knew there's not a lot of laps to get comfortable, and I have to learn quickly. And I think generally I'm quite an adaptive driver, and I hope that's going to help me also this year, racing in GTP for the first time.
Well, the nice thing about the Roar leading up to the Rolex is there seems to be, at least if all goes well and track stays green, a lot of seat time. Do you feel like that's going to be beneficial to you before your first Rolex 24 fighting for an overall win?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that also gives me quite some comfort, I would say, as a rookie driver, because the last time I've been in the 963 was actually when I did my debut in Bahrain. So that's been quite some time now. So I'm looking forward to get another taste of the car again, because in the end, still, every lap I do, every corner I do, I'm still learning and getting more experience. And for sure, these 6 sessions we have during the Raw will be very important, especially for myself, not having so much experience yet, to get ready for the big one next week.
Let's step back for just a moment, and I think we'll close on this. You, in just a couple of years, have come up the ranks really quickly. You're now able to fight for an overall win at the Rolex 24, one of the biggest endurance races on the planet. You're doing it in a 963 for Porsche Penske, and as a freshly minted Porsche factory driver. Did you think a couple years ago that this was possible? Was this always the goal?
I mean, this was always the goal, that's for sure, but I would have never thought that this is possible. I mean, this is something you cannot expect, because in the end, there's so little amount of people who ever get the chance to drive a car like this, and in the end, it's a huge honor. Doesn't only need talent, but also a lot of luck, and in the end, I feel very privileged to be here today, and very thankful, especially to everyone who has been part of my journey. You know, if that's in one mix series, in GT racing, or even in karting, you know, very early, or through sim racing, which has also helped me a lot. So, yeah, it's very nice to be here, very exciting, but it still always feels like that you cannot rest on it, and the new challenge starts now. You know, it's always, when I came here to Daytona for the first time, I thought, okay, now the GT challenge, the IMSA challenge starts now. Now I'm here in GTP, okay, the GTP challenge starts now. So, you know, it feels like you're never stopping, but at some point you also have to take a moment to look back and just feel thankful and privileged.
Well, definitely a big challenge, but I think you personally have a lot of momentum the last few years. Obviously, Porsche Penske, if you've been watching IMSA races, has a lot of momentum the last couple of years, so I think it's a good combination. Best of luck this year.
Thank you.